Hello, hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the what?
We got a large group today. Didn't expect this many people would be interested in a dev stream.
Yep. Yeah, so welcome to the Code with the Devs event, as we're calling it. This is going to be sort of like a programming stream, dev stream, as Rory was saying. We're going to kind of show off like what does and we're going to kind of show off what does current stuff we're working on look like, a little bit what the code's like, and probably some previews of one or two maybe different sub-elements. As a note, two things. I see a lot of people requesting to speak. We're not bringing people up on the stage. There's too many. If you have questions, put them in chat. Second note, questions. This is not a Q&A event. If you have general questions about the game, I implore you to go watch the Dev Q&A event from last month. It is on our YouTube channel. So while we will answer questions related to programming, dev stuff, or whatever specifically like on stream, we're not going to be answering when are sub-elements coming, or can you add, XYZ unrelated feature. We recommend you go watch the other event. So if you're here for that, it's probably not the right event for you to be at. Cool. And we have some staff in chat. You can try to ask things. Some of them might answer it, but we won't be answering general questions. All right. Rory, did you want to get a live stream going?
Yeah. I'm going to start things off, I think, by showing off some of the stuff that I've been working on related to sub-elements. Because it sounds like people are very excited to see that. All right. So, yeah. Sub-elements are going to be a long time away from now in terms of when they release. It'll probably be like, when were you saying? Like Q4,
fall, winter.
Yeah, fall, winter. So don't expect to see like all the sub-element stuff. These are prototypes, and especially the prototypes where the graphics are placeholders. So what I'm going to show, it's going to be like maybe the design is starting to get there, and like maybe the number of different moves is going to start to get there, but the actual appearance, that's not final. And we are still working on that. And I actually just came here out of a meeting with our VFX artist where we were going over a bunch of the different VFX options that we're going to change for blood, which is one of the sub-elements that I have a prototype of that I can show off. All right. I need to connect my VR headset though, so this will take me a minute. Okay. Does this work for my stream?
Yes, I can see it. I saw a comment, is this just a preview or is it going to be a game code? This is just a preview. This is like so early prototype. Yeah, there's nothing for you to join here.
Yeah, this is not in the actual game yet. It is literally not possible to join this through multiplayer without the dev version.
Yeah, you would have to have the Unity project and all of that, so.
Okay. So, yeah, this work, my game visible?
I can see it.
All right. So, here's a prototype UI for now switching between sub-elements. It might end up working like this. There's going to be also more than just two options per. But yeah, right now I've got lava and blood as two things I can show off. Some of you might have seen lava earlier. There was like a previous Q&A where we had a sneak peek of lava. It's been updated a bit since then, but it's probably the same. The idea of lava is that when you grab the ground and charge up for long enough, you now start sending lava, bullets up, and you get now lava streams you can throw. Or grab from two hands, charge up long enough, and you get a lava wave. yeah, some things that got improved. Oh, that is very broken. Yeah, I gotta figure out why
Like we
that's broken.
said, early prototype.
Yeah, but if you pretend that that's actual lava and not like pink, I assume the pink shows up for you guys?
Yes, it looks pink.
Okay, pretend that this looks like lava. You'll be able to grab the ground and kind of send out areas of lava around. And these are solid objects, so if I send one through here, it actually makes platforms that I can stand on. So you can kind of manipulate the terrain like that. But if an enemy stands on these, they will be taking a lot of damage over time. So if I spam this a bit, it kind of ends up covering the entire ground in lava, and can make it probably pretty difficult for people to approach me. This isn't infinite, these do fade out over time, but you can end up covering a decently sized area with them. Of course, while I'm covering an area with these, someone else could just be attacking me and killing me. So I don't think it'll be overpowered, but obviously we'll need to test to know for sure. Let's see. And yeah, you can create these kind of lava things on the ground in multiple ways. If I pull up a lava stream, it'll make that. This kind of lava spikes thing that needs better graphics will make that, and so on. There might be another lava move in, but I'm forgetting it right now. Because lava has not been what I've been working on recently. Recently I've been working on blood. So, I'm sure many of you are thinking, blood bending. Can I pick other players and control them? The answer is basically yes, it will be possible. However, it's going to be limited kind of like the air vacuum. Balance still needs to be tweaked there, but I want it to be maybe a little bit stronger than the air vacuum, but not by much. So, controls. If you hold out one of your hands in the air and just hold trigger, it'll kind of make this blood control zone. Move this over an enemy, and it grabs them. So, yeah. I am now controlling this robot's blood. Don't ask why a robot has blood. And I can move it around however I want, and I can do the same to another player. If I then tap grip, it siphons blood away from them. It does damage to them, and it also heals me. The downside of this is that whenever I do siphon blood away from them, it gives up the blood control. So you end up having a choice of, do you want to move someone around, or do you want to siphon health from them? You can't do both at once. And yeah, it's going to be one of the only moves in the game that will actually heal you when you use it, which I'm hoping will make it a bit unique. That's not all blood has, of course. The other things that blood has are using very placeholder VFX, but the controls might be interesting. If I hold both my hands together, and I press both triggers, instead of summoning a water bubble, I summon a blood orb. And yes, right now it looks like a fire orb that'll change. You can throw that, it'll hit things that explode. In the future, it'll be more like a floating ball of blood that will pop on contact, but, kind of similar. Then, kind of similarly to some fire moves, you can transition out of this into a blood laser. And yes, right now it looks like the air laser, that'll change. This was very much inspired by Jujutsu Kaisen, if anyone here has watched that, because its blood lasers are awesome. As well as also a blood bow that, yes, right now looks like the fire bow. The hit's a little bit different though. You can see I'm still actually holding the fire bow after that go triggers in one of my hands. I could then knock again and keep pulling. In the future, instead of shooting fire arrows, these will shoot spikes of condensed blood. Alright. So I think that's all for the previews I have to show off of the stuff that's been in progress. Oh, almost forgot. Blood daggers. Right now they look like daggers, but in the future they will look like claws. Our artist is in the middle of actually making these claw models now. The idea is that they'll be claws, you can slash things with them, and you can also send them forward to grapple things, just like the water grapple. So it's both blood claws you can slash with as a melee weapon, and also blood claws that appear at the end of a chain that can grapple. Now I think that's all for the moves that I have to show off. Matt, can I
So I have some questions from people on specifically these things.
Oh yeah.
So one request was, can you hit the dummies rather than the robots with some of the abilities?
Sure. So yeah, I can grab the dummies. I can't move them around because they're held in place, but I can siphon blood away from them. Don't ask why these have blood on them. Just, it makes sense.
It's fine.
And then, yeah. And I should note that all of the damage numbers here are placeholder. Okay. I unlocked so many things. Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't look at the unlock notifications for a while. They all just stack up until you finally open it.
Nice. Another thing was, so it charges the spikes instead of making them a trap for lava in regards to lava bending.
That's correct. The earth trap is removed, and the earth trap is replaced by the lava wave that creates this zone. That would damage things, but there's a bug where it doesn't hit the dummies right now.
Someone said for blood bending, what if you grab them with 2 hands?
Then you will be able to control their movement even more. So you'll be able to move them around faster. And then you can siphon blood off of them twice. Or you could say, grab them with 2 hands, siphon blood once, and still be holding them with the other hand. So you could grab someone forever and occasionally siphon blood off with the other hand. Just like the air vacuum, if you are getting grabbed by the blood control move, you can dash, and that will get you out of it.
Does it heal the same amount it deals?
I think it'll probably heal half the amount it deals, but I'll need to test that for balance.
I'm reading through messages. Is the wall removed if you use the lava wave?
No. So, first, I don't have to charge it, and I can just use a small wall. If I want to use a big wall, I first summon a wave, and then I freeze the wave into a wall. And then I get a big wall, and then I can detach it and use it as a wall. So it does mean that it is slower to use a large wall, and it means that there's like an extra step to use a large wall, but it's still there.
I guess I forgot to say who's saying these. From Katara, what levels do you have to be to use these sub-elements?
That's to be determined, but my goal is to keep it a pretty low level so that as many people can use it as possible. It'll probably be something like the first sub-element will unlock at level 15, and the second sub-element will unlock at level 25. Yeah, you will have to unlock them because they make the game more complicated, and by spreading out the unlocks over a few levels, it gives you a chance to learn the basic moves before you have to try the advanced ones. That's why the abilities unlock with level at all. But yeah, I don't want these to be a super exclusive thing. I want these to be available to anyone who's played the game for a bit and learned how the element works.
From ZNNBSLZ73, I don't know how to pronounce that, but is there anything planned to turn the lava picked up from the ground into something else?
You mean like if I pull out a lava stream? Oh yeah, you can freeze it into a spike. So yeah, just like you can freeze the lava wave into an earth wall, you can also freeze the lava stream into an earth spike.
Can they still attack while they are grabbed with blood? I think I can answer that. Like we said, it's the same kind of as vacuum with air, so you can dash out of it, and yes, you should still be able to use abilities while you're being grabbed with it, unless that's not the case, Rory.
That's correct. It'd be a little bit too powerful if your enemy was totally paralyzed and couldn't do anything to escape.
Sorry, you won't get your full bloodbending fantasy.
Yeah, we have to make it fun for both players, right? Fun to be the person using it, but also fun to be the person it's used on. And full paralysis, that's not very fun when it's used on
you. From Star Emoji, could you preview more of the lava on dummies?
Sure. Yeah, so I would be using this kind of ground move on the dummies, but there's a bug where it doesn't hurt them right now. It should. This is just a bug. And yeah, the numbers are very broken. Right now, this does about 3 bars. lava should do a lot more than 3 bars when you hit someone with a stream. So I would probably like double these damage numbers. I would expect like in the future a lava stream might deal up to 6 bars. Same with the lava wave. Right now, the lava wave just does... Ooh, come up here. Oh, I've lost it. I think the lava wave also just does 3 or 4 bars. Oh, even less. Yeah, this definitely needs to be increased. The lava wave should be doing a huge amount of damage. The goal of lava is to make it do a ton of damage if you hit someone with it, but it should be slow and hard to use. Just charging up the lava move means that you have to grab the ground for a long time. So that long charge up time is meant to be balanced by very, very high damage if you do hit.
From XX Lucio Allure XX, can you turn off sub-bending to get your normal moves back? Yes.
Yes, I can equip lava or I can equip earth. So it's kind of like the default rock versus lava. Yeah, it's totally optional. And these are meant to be balanced against each other. So lava is meant to be stronger in some ways, but also weaker in some ways. For example, lava can do a lot of damage with a lava stream once it pulls it out, but that'll be slower than just pulling out a large boulder and throwing it at someone.
From Magicrow, can you make a lava wave out of a detached large wall?
You cannot currently. That is something to think about, and that might end up making it into the final version. But not currently. I think it'd be a reasonable idea though. Give me 1 second though. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see if there's any questions that I can answer here. From Styx, does the large lava wall do the same damage as space charged earth wall? I think technically no, but also none of the damage numbers are final, so I couldn't really tell you. That could change. What is, from Dominoes, what is and isn't going to be replaced with subbending? That will depend on the subbending and on the element, so there's no exact list I can give you. From Jackson, so lava's main purpose is to give Earth users a more fluid and more mobile playstyle other than throw big rock. Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's to give people different things to do, and if you're someone like me who really plays a lot of water, lava's kind of fluid, and it would allow you to maybe play Earth and get used to more Earth things while also having some more similar abilities that you're better at or more used to with the fluid mechanics, but yeah, it's just gonna depend. For Mr. Esoteric, if sub-elements are going to be optional, will there be new passives? Will there be advantages to sticking to the core class? By passives, I assume you mean techniques. Probably. I don't know exactly what those will be yet, but most likely there will be sub-element techniques at some point. And will there be advantages sticking to the core class? Ideally, the goal is balance it all against each other, so that you shouldn't always just be like, oh, I have to play lava bending or I'm gonna lose.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. Let's see here. Scrolling through, lots of questions.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of questions about sub-elements, and we'd be happy to answer them all day, but this was originally meant to be a dev stream, where I could show off even the process of making new sub-elements. And yeah, we can probably answer some more questions, but I'm excited to move on to that. Because I've got some cool ideas to show off. Yeah, Maeve, do we have a lot more of these questions that we want to answer first?
There are a lot of questions, but yeah, you can move on and I'll answer some that I can answer. And if stuff comes up related to the coding, then we'll switch to that.
All right. Because I've got one question that I want to ask everyone here, which is I've got a few different things that I could show off the development process for. I imagine that people are very excited about the sub-elements though. So focusing on those, I got a couple different sub-elements that I could start on. Earth, metal, or fire, lightning. Which one do people prefer?
All right, let's see. I think it's, oh my god, it's actually kind of 50-50. Hold on. I'm going to create a poll, and we're going to go metal or lightning. I can type out lightning and not lighting. Choose. That's not those. Okay, hold on. Give it like a minute here because there's a lot of people here. Everybody go vote in the poll.
All right. And yeah, guess I can also show off a little bit of my design process while we are getting that set up. So here's the super secret Locomotion Devs design documents for what are all the sub-elements or the options there and like what might their moves differently.
Things.
Oh, absolutely. That's the point of this, right?
Everyone's going to pause this video, the replay of this or whatever. Do it. All right, I'm gonna call it lightning.
Ooh, lightning wins. All right.
It's close, and it might change later, but we're not going to wait, an hour for that to finish. So.
Okay. Yeah. So the process that we go through to make sub-elements is step 1. We come up with ideas for things that we believe we could make into sub-elements. So in this case, for Earth, it was like metal, lava, sand, and then a couple others, but we were thinking, crystal, we've got some better ideas for that than like plants on Earth. Then once we had this document done, we could give it to all of you guys to say, hey, what do you actually want to see in the game the most? And then once we heard, okay, for Earth, you want to see metal, you want to see lava, the next step was to make more detailed design documents. And for example, here's the one for Earth. This thing, first, what are the themes of metal? How should it feel different than normal Earth? Like metal should feel maybe sharper and faster and lighter. You're moving around smaller things, but like faster motions. It's very precise. It's very versatile. But compared to Earth, it's also maybe a bit less heavy, less powerful. And once we have those goals, it's like, okay, what moves for Earth are the opposite of these themes? And those moves get replaced. For example, if metal is meant to be fast and light, the opposite of fast and light is something like the Earth armor, which is very slow and heavy. So that means that to make metal feel fast and light, we remove the slow and heavy Earth armor move, we replace it with a new move that is fast and light. In this case, that'll very likely be the metal whips, which would be used kind of like a mix between the water tentacles and the water grapple. We've got some references for them down here and how that could look. But then we go through that, make a list of moves, probably expand this list over time as we come up with more and more ideas, and then start to implement them in the code. And yeah, visual references are important, and we always try to take references from a lot of different sources. Now, I imagine a lot of you are fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that is absolutely something we look at. It is not the only thing we look at. Elements is not an Avatar game. It's a game that takes inspiration from a lot of different sources. That does include Avatar, but here it also includes Full Metal Alchemist for some of the cool metal manipulation stuff, as well as the metal chain is, I believe, from Hunter x Hunter. I haven't seen that one, but our artist has and is a big fan. For lightning, it's similar. Lightning has all of these themes for what it's meant to be and how it's meant to be different than normal fire. And we try to take all the moves in fire that are the opposite of the lightning theme and then change those moves to make them closer to that desired theme. And then here's some visual references. In this case, Avatar and Naruto is the big references here. Yeah. So, Mac, the people wanted to see fire lightning?
Yes, let's go for lightning.
All right. So, this is a design document. There's a lot of different moves here, and I can do a lot in 2 hours, but I cannot implement 7 new moves in 2 hours. That's a bit much. So I'm going to start with some of these. We're not going to get to all of them, but maybe we can do some of the more interesting ones.
Could you zoom in on the document more? Because people are having a hard time seeing it. Of
course. Yes. Is this better?
Thank you. Jackson, can you read it now? Oh wait, you can't talk for 2 minutes. Just like thumbs up your own message if you could read it.
Let me check my stream quality. I think this is good quality, right?
Yeah,
full
it should
resolution
be.
here. Okay. But yeah. So before I get started on the actual code for Lightning, I have to explain the ideas behind it and what the goal is. Because before you start making anything, it's always important to understand what your goal is that you're trying to make. Goal of Lightning. It's meant to be instant, precise, deadly, paralyzing, piercing, and charged. Lightning should travel really fast, but it should also require very good aim to hit with some of it. Think almost like a hit-scan sniper rifle shot in a first-person shooter game. The bullet's very fast, but you have to aim well to hit. If you do hit, it should be very deadly, and it should pierce through people's blocks, and maybe even paralyze you. So very powerful on a hit. But also it should take some time to charge up before you hit. You're not just going to be pressing a button and then boom, instantly lightning bolt. No, this is the kind of thing where you have to charge up the lightning first, and then fire it. So, strengths and weaknesses versus normal fire. Lightning is going to be much worse at spamming. Since you have to charge up all your moves, you just cannot spam. It's a limitation on how fast you can attack. Which means that lightning is going to be putting out a lot less attacks than fire. But the attacks that it does put out, if you hit with them, should deal more damage. Because lightning should feel incredibly deadly on the shots that do hit. So, yeah, what's the design for how to do that? Probably won't go through all of these, but just as an example. The Fire Blast. Fire Blast is a move that's very easy to hit, and it's one that's very fast to use. That means that it is the opposite of precise and charged. So in order to make the Fire Blast more precise and more charged, it's given a much longer range, much narrower hitbox, so much more like a line and less like a big area. And then it would also have a minimum cooldown before you can use it. So that you would not be able to spam the Fire Blast, but you'd instead have to charge it up for half a second, and then you can send out the Lightning Blast. But the longer range would make up for those downsides. And then, similarly with a lot of these. Alright. Yeah, before I jump into the code, any questions I should take?
No, let's see. I've also been answering stuff that I can answer. A couple different comments about metal and JJK for other references. Oh, I did get one DM from someone who said we should clarify that blood bending will not take other spending away. Correct. We will not add something to the game that will take away your bending.
Yeah. Oh, and for the JJK fans, that was a very big inspiration for Blood. That's why Blood has orbs and lasers and that kind of stuff. And the target that we're going for with the Blood Laser especially is very JJK inspired.
Elementalist Sammy, will lightning be fast? Devs reply if you think it should. I think it needs other people reply to them. But will lightning be fast is the question.
So fast has two meanings. Lightning will be very fast in that lightning projectiles will move very quickly through the air. Lightning will not be fast in that lightning is not something that you can rapidly spam a lot of different projectiles at once. So yeah, the projectiles are fast physically once they appear, but they're not like a quick attack rate to use. And the goal is to match the references here, where you can see all of these. These are super powerful lightning abilities, but none of these abilities are ones that the characters just immediately pull out and are like, boom, sudden lightning. They charge them up first and then fire them.
From Lord Milo, very, very fast projectiles or hit scan? Because while they may be similar, there's a notable difference.
That's a mix. So yeah, I know people don't like hit scan. Honestly, I don't like hit scan either. But there's kind of like a limit, technically wise, of how fast we can make a projectile before like hit scan is just the only reasonable option for implementing it. So the lightning beam would work very much like the fire laser, and it would be hit scan. The lightning blast is also technically hit scan, I believe, because the fire blast is a hit scan type move. Even though it's short enough range that it doesn't always feel like that. The other ones here, so the ball lightning, lightning arrow, daggers, bolts, those are all projectiles.
Will lightning be purple?
Lightning will probably be a cyan blue, copying these references. That said, what I can actually do today, because I only have so much time, is not really going to focus on the visuals. I'm going to focus on the code. There are other people on the team who specialize in the visual side of it, and they can do a lot better job than I can. My expertise is the code side.
All right. Well, let's move on to the code then.
All right. Would be a good one to start with. I think the lightning blast might be a good one to start with. It's really pretty simple. Yeah. All right. So now we get to the very fun part of actual programming. I don't even know why
we'll
we guys are
immediately
here.
lose half our people.
Yeah, like programming isn't it's not like the most exciting thing out there, but like if you want to see it, I'm happy to show it off. Yeah, and yeah, Mac, do you think I should be more like going slowly and explaining all the steps, or should I like trying to go fast and just get as much done as I can?
Well, okay. Who actually wants to learn about coding? Who just wants to see new things? Several people are typing. Someone just said yes. That doesn't answer my question. Both. A lot of people saying new things.
Overall,
yeah, I think there's more
things.
stuff wanting to see new things.
All right. I'm going to go very fast then, and I don't expect things are going to make a lot of sense, but I'm going to try to explain things as I go. But I am going to start speeding through this. So step one, I'm going to make a new subelement object. So here we have different assets in the code that correspond to all the subelements. I'm going to duplicate one of them. Let's say we have this earth lava one, and I'm going to change that to a fire lightning. And I have to do this for the subelement to even be an option that appears in the UI. But once I create this new asset in the code, the UI should be set up to automatically update itself based on that new asset. So I'm making the asset, I'm renaming it Fire Lightning. I can't spell. I need to actually fix that name or it's going to bother me forever.
Nice.
It's lightning. There. Okay. Then the subelement config here is Fire Lightning. Oh yeah, by the way, here's all the subelements we're planning to add. Yeah, it's the same thing that we confirmed to polls. No generic stat modifiers on it so far. Unlock level should be 15 for now. Element
What
is
coding
2,
language
which means
do you
fire.
use?
This is the Unity engine, which uses the C# programming language.
Okay.
Entry name, Fire Lightning. These entries here are how we do localization. So there's a bunch of different languages here, and I'm just going to set it to say Lightning in all of them. And in the future, we'll have people can actually translate them to other languages, but for now, just English. But I probably, by doing that, just overwrote another entry, didn't I? The program I'm using right now is called Git. Git is a tool that will kind of save versions of your code so you can go back and forth easily. I think I just messed up, so I'm going to use Git to undo one of my changes. Because, yeah, I accidentally renamed lava into lightning instead of having a new thing that's just lightning. So let me quickly undo that. Don't want lava to turn into lightning.
Dick says, what programming patterns do you use the most?
ECS. ECS stands for Entity Component System. It's a little bit beyond the scope of what I can explain right now, but you can find great tutorials online if you look it up. And then within that, we're using a netcode library called Photon Quantum. Photon Quantum combines ECS with a netcode pattern called rollback, which is common in fighting games. So yeah, if you want to know the details behind elements, look up ECS and look up rollback. And that's kind of the technical side. Okay, looks like I got the name set up correctly now. So the name is good. And yeah, I want to make sure that I can get it to appear in the UI as my first step. Let's also give it a better icon. I don't want it to look like lava. I want it to look like lightning. Do we have any good lightning icons? I want to reuse whatever icon we're using for the ultimate. Is that in this list? Not seeing it in here. Maybe it's up here. There's a lightning bolt. I was just blind. Okay. Placeholder image there. We'll give all the subelements proper icons later, but I'm an artist. It's not my job. And there. We're going to make sure that the UI knows that it should update. I'm running a forced reserialize tool here. That interacts with a feature in Unity called onValidate that says, hey, whenever you're setting up an object, go run some code to make sure that object is set up correctly. In this case, that is validating the select element UI that you can see in the list here to say the select element UI should actually match all of the subelement assets that I had in the other folder. So because I added that asset, I need to run that, and now it should be good. So go back to the scene and, okay, put on my viewer headset and try this. There's not going to be any lightning moves. I'm just making sure that it appears in the UI and I can select it. The most important thing to do when you're programming is to test as often as possible. There is never a situation where you get things right in the first try. And because it's going to be wrong in the first try, you have to realize that it's wrong as soon as possible so you can then fix it as soon as possible. So yeah, I only made one change, but I'm going to test that change to make sure that my change was right. Because if my change is not right, I need to know that now.
From Crystal Gem. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is why VR development is hard. Because testing things in VR means you have to stand up and put on a headset, and then connect the headset, and then run the game, and then wait for it to load into the headset, and then check things. And that adds another 30 seconds a minute on every single change you do, which is not there when you're doing non-VR development. So yeah, VR is pain. But it looks like it does appear correctly. It's called lightning. There's a good icon over there. And that drives on Fireworks and Age of techniques.
From Crystal Gem, has ChatGPT been helpful with coding for you?
Kind of. So you're probably thinking of ChatGPT in the form of, do I open the ChatGPT website and ask it questions? No, I don't really do that. That's a decent thing to do if you're kind of like maybe just learning the program and you're trying to ask like very simple questions. ChatGPT is great at simple questions. Once you've been programming for a lot of years, you kind of stop needing to ask those simple questions anymore, and then you start to have really hard questions, and ChatGPT just doesn't know the answers to hard questions. So yeah, I don't use it for that. What I do use it for, though, and we'll get there quickly, is it's pretty good at code completion. I'm using GitHub Copilot for that. So there you can like type part of a thing and it'll just fill out the rest. And it, again, can't fill out anything complicated, but like it'll speed up my typing. I'm already pretty fast at typing, but AI is even faster. But yeah, it's for speeding up typing. It's not for answering questions, really, in my opinion.
Is there any reason you use raw Git instead of a client like GitHub Desktop or Bitbucket?
Because I started with raw Git when I was first learning how to use it, because I was starting in like a command line that I had to use over SSH to a server where GitHub UI was not an option. So I learned it the hard way first, and yeah, it just became the thing I was most familiar with. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do, lightning charge. That's a reskin of the fire charge ability. Fire charge is that thing where like you hold your hands together and there's like a ball of fire between them, but it's not actually a move yet. I call that fire charge. So we're going to have a version of it that's very similar to that, but lightning, and I'm going to call that lightning charge. So I'm going to take my fire charge state and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to call it lightning charge state. So Oh, here's another programming pattern for the person who asked about that before. State machines. State machines are a programming pattern that's like saying there's a thing in the game, it's in some state now, it can transition to other states later. We use that for the elemental abilities, where each of your hands is in a state now, and then it transitions to different states. In this case, here's all the states in the game for fire. There are things like fire charge state, fire bow state, fire bow state, fire javelin state, fire pillar state, all sorts of these. And the bulk of the code here for the elemental abilities is about in what situations should you transition to other states based on the controls. And here's an example, like for this, the fire charge state, when you release triggers, then it will sometimes create the fire blast. And these green lines are comments that kind of give explanations of parts of the code. So for the lightning charge state, the first thing that I'm going to modify is actually this. Instead of creating fire blasts, I'm going to want to create lightning blasts. So I'm going to start doing that. But I'm also going to just undo the rest, delete the rest of that I don't need. Like fire shield, fire bow, fire laser, there yet. Yeah?
People are asking for you to drop your typing word per minute.
To drop my typing word per minute?
No, to tell them what it is, but that's what I mean by drop.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that'd be like a good thing for me to know, but like, I just don't have it memorized.
Because apparently you type very quickly, and because your keyboard's next to your microphone, everyone can hear, and you go.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. 100%. So yeah, I'm actually going to delete this blast filter as well. I think I can reuse the same blast filter from the fire charge state, so I might as well reuse that instead of making a new one. And yeah, import the references there. But good. So instead of the fire blast prototype here, I want a lightning blast prototype. The rest of the code's probably the same. Lightning blast should probably not push you when you use it, so I'm going to remove the flight. Yeah, because like when you use the fire blast, that knocks you back. Lightning bolts shouldn't really knock you back. I'm just going to delete that. Charge on side trigger. Looks good, that looks good, that looks good. And it's transitioning to everything correctly. Collect it for now, and then I can delete all this. I'll need data back later, but simplify for now. Okay, so that'll be a lightning charge state, and then that'll activate all of the lightning bolt stuff once I get that set up. But we need to actually get into the lightning charge state in the first place, and that to go to the fire inactive state. So there's some places where we transition to the fire charge state. We want to say there, instead of transitioning to fire charge, if you have the lightning sub-element equipped. So if the player sub-element is lightning, and then otherwise the conditions are all the same, then you want to transition to the lightning charge state. This isn't the only place that you can transition to the charge state. I believe you can also transition to the charge state out of the bolt state, so I need to change that too. Yeah, so I want to transition firebolt to lightning charge state. And this gray that's appearing here is what GitHub Copilot does. This is AI. Thing is, it's wrong. And yeah, I don't actually want that line. It got it like right, except for that one line. So that's kind of where it can be useful, except as a way to like speed up typing. I knew what I needed to type already. It's just faster if I can press one button to type it instead of all of that. But then you need to know, oh yeah, it's obviously wrong there, so fix that. All right.
I have multiple requests for you to go on the words per minute website and test your typing speed.
Fine.
Yay!
Words
Side quests!
per minute. Last typing test. Okay, so I can type quickly. I can't always spell well though, because when you're programming, all you have to do is type the first half of a word and then press tab to autocomplete. Like if I need to like transition to lightning bolt, I think transit and then tab, and then that auto completes. So I think that's what I've trained for, but I'll see what I can do in typing. 1 minute typing test. Okay. Tiny poison dart. Frogs may be only 1 inch away. For example, was some with think of yellows, oranges, reds, greens, and blues. I want just to show off either of those colorful designs that potential characters. All right, what did I get? 85 words per minute, 97% accuracy. There you go.
There you go.
I hope that satisfies people's curiosity. All right, back here. I actually need to modify this code a little bit more because I not only need to say, hey, you should transition to lightning charge state here, but you should actually only transition to the fire charge state if you are not in the lightning state. So I'm going to modify this just slightly. Now this should confirm that, okay, you will only ever go to the fire charge state if you are not using the lightning sub-element. Otherwise, there would have been some subtle bugs there. Let's just make sure that I'm not transitioning to fire charge state anywhere else. So I can control click to get place of all the places it's used. Ooh, fire arrows, fine. Fire laser is fine. Firebolt's done. Inactive is done. Orb is fine. Orb is fine. All right, good enough. So this will get us to a lightning charge state that should be implemented correctly. But then this is when we have the code. So one of the things about Quantum, which is the networking library we use, is that it separates the simulation half the code from the view half the code. Where if the simulation is physics, and that's everything that's shared between players, well, the view is graphics. That can be different between players. And yeah, I need to, there's a fire charge state view. And so if I want to have a lightning charge to copy that, I also need a lightning charge state view. And what this thing does is it controls the effects that appear between your hands when you're charging things up. And I believe it's going to be the exact same code as the fire charge state view, except that instead of an element state view for fire charge state, it's an element state view for the lightning charge state. And yeah, this does things like it plays the effects on your hands, it plays some haptic pulses on your hands, plays different effects based on your heat, which is how much you've charged it up, that kind of stuff. And there, I think we're good. And yeah, I'm expecting this programming part isn't going to make sense like anyone here, but you guys asked for me to go quickly, so I'm going as fast as I can.
From King GTC 99, Rory, do you have any tips for aspiring coders?
Practice. Practice, practice, practice. I have been programming for probably close to 15 years now. And there's, if you spend 15 years programming, then you'll reach my level. And it's a long road, but it's a road where even if you're just getting started, you can still have a lot of fun. Tutorials for things like Unity are better than ever. So if you're absolutely just getting started and you like games and you want to program games specifically, look up some Unity tutorials. There are very good ones, and I can recommend particular YouTubers if people are looking for them. Follow those tutorials, try writing a little bit of basic C#, and see what you can learn. Right. Yeah, now that I've set up the code, I have to set up the assets side of it, where I'm making a lightning charge state asset. And this stores all the configuration data for what's going to be in the actual state. So the code defines the behavior. These assets here, though, define the configuration and the data.
Unity takes years to load, though.
From Mr. Mega Gyarados, is Quantum better than Unity's built-in netcode?
There is no objectively better choice. They are different. Which one is right for you is very complicated, and it depends on what you're trying to make. I'd be happy to answer that, but I think that might take a lot longer of an answering than I can do right now. But yeah, if you're making a game like Elements, then Quantum is the right choice. If you're making like a simple game, Quantum is probably not the right choice. Quantum can add a lot of complexity if you don't need PvP physics. That's Quantum's specialty, PvP physics, and like fighting game style stuff. I do have other prototypes that I was experimenting with, like other netcode solutions for, including Unity's netcode, because it is better for other things.
I'm getting reports that people can't hear anything, but I'm not sure why, because I can hear you.
Can't hear anything. Don't know what's up there. Okay. So we got this fire blast effect here. Okay, there it goes. So I'm kind of making a version of this for the lightning blast. So for the fire blast, we can see the effect is like this, and the collider is roughly like this. For the lightning, I want this to be a lot longer and thinner and narrower, and maybe if we can also to look like a lightning. So just as a placeholder, I'm going to copy the existing lightning ultimate, and I'm going to stick it in here. Let's see how this looks. You are entirely the wrong shape because you're up here, and I don't want that. And you're also rotated wrong, so let's rotate you to there. Okay, you're too big. Let's make you a bit smaller. Maybe a little bit smaller. It seems like it was
probably just like Discord servers crapped itself for a minute or something.
We back now, though?
As far as I can tell. I mean, I never lost audio anyway. Some localized issue, I'm sure.
Okay. Looks like this thing might be backwards. Not sure why. That looks like it's traveling that direction. That's a bit weird.
So they couldn't hear when you're explaining what the capsules are for. Could you re-explain it? If you said what they are, I don't know.
Oh, this capsule? This is the collider that's used for the damage area. So the fire blast looks like this, but its damage zone is actually this kind of capsule shape. But they're close enough that you can't tell the difference in practice. But the idea is that for lightning, I want a different shaped collider because lightning is meant to be very long and thin. So I'm going to change this capsule to be long and thin and then try to change the effects to match that. So let's say that I want the capsule to be maybe twice the length. So I'll put that at 8 and 4, and then a very thin radius of maybe like a point. Yeah, let's keep it at 0.1, very, very thin. And then, yeah, it looks like a lightning bolt about matches that, except that it's still backwards. I'm trying to figure out why. Because this and that. Okay, now that's correct. Alright, so I can delete the fire blast effects. Just keep the lightning, keep the collider. Collider's hooked up, attack's hooked up. Alright. Oh, and then I gotta control the size of the lightning bolt. And then this should be scale power of 1. Alright. So I think this is good enough for a prototype effect. This is not going to be final, but good enough for testing. And yeah, so I've put this effect on a new lightning blast prefab that's otherwise exactly a copy of the fire blast prefab, so it should slot in. I'm going to do like lightning charge, slot this in here. So now the lightning charge thing is all set up. Wait, why is your max heat 0? Your max heat should be 1, right? Let's double check that. Did I modify the fire charge state on accident instead of the lightning charge state? Yeah, okay, I just accidentally modified the wrong thing there. No, but you should have max heat of 1 instead of 0. Max heat is the maximum that the ability can charge up when you hold it down for a while. Because heat is that like charging it for time system. Let's add all the abilities. Okay, and then that's thing to do. I have to find that state. I need to add that state to the cursor by having the lightning charge state here. And then also in the cursor, just like I have this charge state here for fire, I need an equivalent thing down here for the lightning charge. And yeah, instead of a fire charge state view, it should be a lightning charge state view. But I want it to have otherwise similar parameters. So it should have the full charge effects there, and there, and there. And what is this heat view? Oh, it's up there. You should go here as well, and then the haptics, I'll copy those as well. But I do want to be able to tell the lightning charge state apart from the normal fire charge state. So I am going to slightly modify these graphics. What's an easy way to make it look like a lightning? I'm just going to change the color to a bluish for now. The full lightning particles are going to be more complicated, but I need something that I can do quickly so I can move on. Ooh, that's kind of a pretty color. And then you should also kind of be like a... Let's just select all of you and then make you all kind of a uniform significant blue. Okay, and it doesn't look like lightning, but the goal here isn't to make it look like lightning. The goal here is to make it not look like fire so I can tell them apart. And there. I think that's all we need to have the first lightning blast move in. Great, let's test it and see if it works. Any questions?
Typhlosion said, how about the hand particles from the lightning ultimate?
That is a very good point. I should use those. Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. I'm going to test this first, but then I will copy those over. But yeah, those won't be the final version of the game because I probably want to make something more polished, but that is a very good placeholder to suggest for now. Gotta come my VR headset, run the game. I love Unity's load times. Unity's loading times are my favorite part of development. Just standing here and waiting for the game to actually play after I press play.
From Mr. Magical Leader, will the lightning bolt become a lightning ultimate and be replaced with another basic fire one for normal fire?
We'll figure that out later. I am expecting that a fire and lightning are going to share the same set of ultimates because they are the same element. And I think it'd be more interesting if you could like mix and match them like that. But it would also be weird to have like a really strong lightning move as like a fire thing. So we need to figure that out. Okay, yeah. So I can definitely have the lightning charge thing here. I can charge it up. I can tell it's a lightning one because it's blue. And then, boom. I can send it forward and get that nice lightning. I don't know if you guys have sounds, but I've also copied the sounds of the lightning ultimate, so that's gonna be... Yeah. Can I hit? Okay, so, yeah, that's not working. Why are you taking damage? Oh, that did it. When did I hit that time, but not the other times? Does it like specific areas? Alright. You guys now get to see the most fun part of programming, debugging. Always, when you're making programming, or when you're programming things, you will run into mysterious issues that don't make any sense, but you gotta fix them. I have no idea why this isn't colliding, because I set it up to work exactly like the fire blast, and the fire blast works, but this one doesn't.
Elementalist Sammy says capsule is too small.
Yeah, that's my theory. Because the fire one was fat and this one wasn't. But I don't know why a small capsule would cause it, because the small capsule is clearly going to overlap this guy. Like, I was hitting, even despite the fact that it was small. So, is it like a bug in the physics engine where it just can't handle capsules that small at all? I don't know what else would be. But the easy way to test that, of course, is to make the capsule fatter. Same for 0.5, which is going to be really fat, but it's a way to test this theory. So yeah, this updates here, layers are right.
Hello 6387 says, is the collider only registering at the end of the bolt?
Let me double check, but I think it's everywhere. Yeah, no, the collider is here at the start and it goes all the way to the end, so if it is only registering at the end of the bolt, that's a bug, because the collider does, cover the entire area. But
Don't forget about the lightning particles.
Yeah, I'll fix this first. We'll get to that. One thing at a time. Yeah, but as we wait for you to load, I can take some more questions.
Can we get a third sub-element for fire? Buttered toast bending.
Sure. Butter toast bending confirmed.
Oh no. People are going to take that to heart.
So this... Yeah, so it probably was just the collider width. Yeah, that feels good. Sometimes you don't have effects up here at all, but that's a bubble illustrator. Okay, so overall this feels decent. It's very hard to aim. Yeah, it's supposed to be hard to aim. Alright, we'll call that good. I do want to make the damage a bit more instant, but I can fix that a bit. Alright, bug resolved. I'm going to lower the collider size down a little bit again, because it was a little bit too fat after I increased it for testing. I don't know why Quantum doesn't like very thin colliders, but just how it is. More unit loading.
From Blix 1551. Can I kindly ask Rory to hit a sick dance move?
You have asked for that. I have acknowledged that you have asked for that. So yes, you can ask. Alright, back to the lightning particles. Let's see. So the cursor here with the... Yeah, let's replace this with the lightning bolt charge effects. I'm going to drag this in instead. Reset the position.
From Evil Mr. Magikarp, how do you get the Unity Collider to be responsible for dealing damage? All mine are Quantum Colliders currently.
Well, the Unity Collider sets the Quantum Collider. If you look at the lightning blast object, you can see that the source collider and the Quantum Collider is set to copy the Unity Collider. So by editing the Unity Collider, it edits the Quantum Collider, then does the damage. So this thing is way too big. Gotta tone that down. 0.01 maybe. Let's see, because I want it to be about the same size as this, but lightning shaped, so I'll try that. Give me 1 second though. Okay, so it looks like 0.01 is a little bit too small. I'm going to increase that up to 0.02, and that looks about right. Now for the full charge one, we probably want that to be even bigger. So I'm going to make another copy of this, and I'm going to have the electricity sphere at 0.04 for double the size here. And yeah, now we could delete these ones. Looks like, yeah, the other settings seem to be good enough. So I'll do that, and then I'll drag in these effects. And then maybe we'll have slightly nicer lightning charge effects. Still placeholder stuff. Okay. Entity likes to mysteriously change a lot of materials for no reason, so I occasionally just undo that. Then the last thing that I want to do before I call this thing done, if you remember the design, if you forgot the design when you're building anything, one of the points of lightning charge is that it's meant to have a minimum cooldown before it can transition into any ability. Because lightning bolts shouldn't be something that you can just instantly spam out. There should be a minimum charge up time. So let's do that. So to do that, I'm going to go to the lightning charge state, and then I'm going to modify the conditions under which it can actually create the lightning blast. Because now there's another condition, as well as actually I don't need this unlocked, as well as the velocity being high enough in your hands. We also have to have a minimum blast time, and I want to say the time that you've been in this state has to be at least that minimum blast time, or else it will not work. And if you're below that minimum blast time, it'll just do nothing. And that minimum time should probably be about half a second. Let's try half a second, see how that feels. Right, it'll take some time for you to load and start. Any questions?
Voidline VR, what is your favorite element you made or that you are making?
I mean, I like all the elements. Specific combos that are fun. I really like the air sword into air glider combo. That's a very nice thing. Elements as a whole, it's hard to say because they're all so different. They all have pros and cons. I'd say individual move of designing and making, probably the air sword into air glider. It was just an idea that came up one day where we're like, wait a second, this is really cool.
From Mr. Magical Leader, ask Rory how many elements will have a wave after sub-elements are implemented.
Every single one. No, serious answer, lava wave is getting at it, but probably not any other waves. Because, yeah, the other ones that were confirmed, I don't think waves even make sense for them. Like, I don't want to have too many abilities that are similar to each other, so probably just lava. Ooh, yeah, look at this lightning. This is cool lightning. Okay, so we got the small lightning, then it charges up into big lightning. And the charge up needs to be shown much better, but that's what future work is for. And if I try to spam it too quickly, it just does nothing. So I have to charge it up a bit, and then I can fire. And if I go up here, then I'm not going to be within range to hit. So I have to charge it up fully, and that should give me a longer range one. And I still miss. Okay. Oh, wait, I am within range here. What? Okay, fine. Can I hit that one from here? No. What if I charge it up? I should be able to. Huh. I don't know if the charged one has the right hitbox. I'll try moving a bit closer, because it just might be too far away. So, uncharged, clearly out of range. if I charge it up, it should be double the range, and I should be in range. Okay, that went right through it. That's a bug. Maybe it's not double range, maybe it's like 0.5 increase.
I have a question from King GTC 99. Two things. Rory, what is your favorite pet, and do you speak multiple languages?
My favorite pet, I mean, I've got a cat called Shadow. I'm kind of surprised she hasn't joined for the stream yet because she was meowing a lot earlier. She is an extremely loud cat. She just wants attention though. She's fine. If she comes around and starts screaming at me, it's because she wants to jump on my shoulders or something. Do I speak multiple languages? Yes. Je parle français. J'ai oublié beaucoup de mon français, mais je comprends encore un peu. J'étais fluent quand j'étais petit. I speak a little bit of Spanish too, but not very much.
I have no idea what you just said, but anyone here speaks French. There you go.
Oui, j'allais à l'école en immersion quand j'étais petit. Alors, toutes mes classes étaient en français. Mais d'après l'école, j'ai pas étudié français du tout. Donc, mon accent, c'est probablement terrible maintenant. C'était meilleur quand j'étais un enfant.
Neat.
I'm not 100% sure that the range of the charged up lightning bolt is working, but I debug that more later. The collisions aren't as reliable as they should be. But whatever. Let's move on to another move.
The staff are joking about banning you for not speaking English.
Oh, yep. A fair answer.
Oh, yeah, and Magikarp speaks French. So, Magikarp, do you want to translate what Rory said, or do you even understand?
I'm hoping my accent was still good enough to be understandable. I can definitely feel that it's degraded over time, though. I'm just out of practice.
He said he understood it perfectly.
Oh, cool.
He also said you speak better than people from France. I don't know if that's true.
That is absolutely false. No, not at all. I'm sure it'd be understandable to people in France, but they would be able to tell I have an accent. Okay. Added lightning blast move. Lightning blast, done. This is the prototype. Graphics, of course, will need to be changed later. Balance needs to be changed later. That's not the goal right now. The goal right now is to prototype. So, yeah, I should also probably put this in a new branch. Reverse / lightning.
Someone said, "Can Rory understand this?" And I don't speak any other languages. I'm not trying to read it out. It's from Katara. It's at the bottom.
Sure. How do I get? Yeah, I think I can understand that. I think Lindo. I don't know Lindo. I guess based on context is cute or nice. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I can speak enough Spanish that I can read at least simple sentences. But listening to Spanish, that's terrible because people speak so fast. I can't keep up. All right, lightning. What we go to next? We got the lightning blast.
Someone wanted to do the lightning daggers.
Lightning daggers. Daggers. Yeah. So one of the questions with them is that I'm not totally sure what they should be like, but they do sound cool to make, so let's try them. So, okay.
I also said earlier in chat, not over voice, but so since the last one was kind of the quick and dirty, here's a new thing, go slower on this one, so people actually want to learn the coding thing can learn coding things.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go very slow, but if I'm starting to go too slow, interrupt me. Okay. So, lightning dagger. How do we do that? Well, the best place to start for the lightning dagger, based on this design, is going to be the fire daggers. Because my idea here is that the lightning daggers are going to work exactly the same as the fire daggers. They're just going to look different. And in the future, we can figure out maybe there's some slight differences between them. But for now, I want to make them work exactly the same and just look different. So, if I want to have a new thing that works exactly the same as the old thing, the natural place I'm going to start with the code is at the old thing, and I'm going to copy it. The main thing that defines how the fire daggers work in the game is the fire dagger state. This is the code that runs while you are actively holding a fire dagger. So I'm going to make a copy of this with Control-C, Control-V. And I'm going to name this copy lightning dagger state. Now, when I make this copy, there's a few things that I want to change to make it actually be like a lightning dagger state instead of a fire dagger state. The first thing up here is the name of the class. I don't want to make the fire dagger state class anymore. I want to make the lightning dagger state class. Lightning dagger state. There's a few other places where that class is referenced, like down here, it references the fire dagger state class. I want to reference the lightning dagger state, that class. Now, let's take a brief look through all the code. I can't explain everything in detail because there's 200 lines of code here, and well, we could spend the entire rest of that just going over these 200 lines. But here's the brief summary. Up here at the start are the settings that define how the fire dagger, or now the lightning dagger, works. These are just configuration numbers. For example, there's a number here that defines how long the daggers are. So I could increase this to make the daggers longer, give you a little bit more reach, or decrease it, make the daggers shorter, give you a little bit less reach. FP here stands for fixed point, but think of it as like a decimal. Or it can be, right now it's 0.5 as a default. There's a lot of settings here, because daggers are actually one of the really complicated moves because of the slashes. The problem is that detecting when you do a slash motion is actually really hard. Because there's no like one kind of slash motion, but there's a lot of different ways people can slash, and I have to kind of guess or average between all of them. So the majority of the code for the dagger state actually computes how you do those slashes. The dagger is simple. The dagger creating the slashes is the hard part. And that's why there's all of these different configuration settings just for creating the slashes. This isn't even like how the slashes work once you make them. This is just configuring how you make them. Moving on from the configuration, I have this context here. It's a bit complicated, but it's a bit like the state is the overall configuration that doesn't change while the game runs. The context is that plus some specific information about what's happening in the game right now. And that's information like, where is your hand? What is the players doing? What buttons are being pressed? All of that kind of information is important to have as a context for how the ability works. I'm going to skip over this stuff for now and move on to onUpdate. OnUpdate is the most important part of the code here. This is a function that runs every frame while you're holding the fire dagger, or in this case, while you're holding the lightning dagger. And it has a lot of different parts. These green bits are comments that label these parts to make it a little bit easier to read. For example, this first part says you should release the fire dagger when it gets destroyed. If some other part of the code destroys the fire dagger, then you shouldn't be trying to hold on to the fire dagger anymore. That's kind of a bad state to be in when you're trying to hold on to a thing that doesn't exist. This is never supposed to happen. So if I do detect that it happens, I put out a warning saying, hey, this shouldn't happen. Something's wrong. Warnings like this go into the game's log files. That's why whenever the game crashes or something, I always try to ask for people's log files. Because those log files will have messages like this that tell me what's going wrong. Now, the log files aren't perfect because I haven't put these messages everywhere. I've only put these messages in the places that I can think of, oh yeah, there might be an error here. That's why the log files aren't perfect information, but it's much better than nothing. So if the fire dagger is destroyed, then you should transition out of the lightning dagger state and into the inactive state, where you're not using any move. The same thing should happen. Oh, go ahead.
I have a quick question. From Zeta Typhlosion, is it that complicated for Air Sword 2? It feels much more consistent to slash than daggers.
Yes, it is so much more consistent. So let's look at Air Sword for comparison. Air Sword state. It has a good number of slash settings. Not quite as many as the lightning dagger state, though. The big difference isn't the code. The big difference is actually how the controls make people behave. When you're holding a two-handed sword, there's only a few different ways that you physically try to slash with a two-handed sword. And those ways are all relatively simple to detect. When you're holding a one-handed dagger, there's a lot of different physical motions you can make in real life to slash with that one-handed dagger. Because think about it. You're holding a two-handed sword. You want to slash with that sword. You're not going to be moving your hands that much, but you are going to be rotating your hands around each other. That's pretty easy to detect. I just check are your hands rotating around each other, and then I'm done. Now, the dagger's different. When you slash with the dagger, you could hold your hand in place and just rotate your wrist really fast. That's a slash. Or maybe you actually don't rotate your wrist at all, and you just move your hand up and down really fast. That's also kind of a slash. Maybe there's a little bit of arm rotation in there, but you don't have any wrist rotation. Those are two totally different motions that ideally should both make a slash. Because they both feel like slashes, even though the physics of how your hand is moving in real life are totally different. That's why the fire daggers feel so much worse than the air sword.
Evil Mr. Magikarp says, I'm guessing this state machine is better for performance than just having a huge update function for each and every move and action that would have to do with lightning.
Not really. Performance is about the same. What it is better for is readability. So, how many lines of code
Do you think exist to control fire right now?
Too many.
Yeah. So let's look at a few examples. Fire arrow state, 130 lines. Fire bolt state, 120 lines. Okay, we're up to 250. Fire bow state, that's another 30. We're up to 300. Fire charge state, oh, this adds another 160. We're up to 460. Fire dagger state, this adds another 200. We're up to 660. Fire inactive, that's another 100, 760. If I kept going, we'd probably reach 1,500, 2,000 lines of code at the end. Now imagine that there's a bug in Fire, and that bug is somewhere in those 2,000 lines of code, and you don't know where. Good luck. It'd be possible to debug, but it would be very, very painful. Separating the code like this doesn't make it run faster, but it makes reading it so much easier. It's like if you put a bunch of items on a shelf or something, do you organize those items neatly, or do you just put them all into one big pile? If you've organized the stuff on your shelf neatly, they're still the same stuff, but you'll be able to find things a lot faster if they're organized.
From Elementalist Sammy, make a force variable and direction variable, and when force goes above and spawn effect and direction variable, direction, that might fix it. I don't know what that means. Hopefully it makes sense to you.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like what it's doing now. It adds together a lot of different components of like your arm motion and also the rotation. And then like it adds them together and then has like some bonus outward stuff, like some bonus sideways stuff. And it combines a little bit of all of those to try to find the right mix. But like I've done my best I can mixing it and it still doesn't feel very good. Yeah, back to the code here for the lightning dagger. Yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, when it's destroyed, we go back to the inactive state. Similarly, if you release trigger, so this symbol here means not, so if you're not holding the trigger, then it transitions to the inactive state. Similarly, if there's a phase event, which means if you tap grip, it transitions to the firebolt state. These are all pretty easy. It's just, if this button is pressed, go to the state. Then there's some more complicated stuff of, okay, you have the fire dagger, it's in your hand. Now the fire dagger's position needs to match your hand's position. That's essentially what this part of the code does. It moves and rotates the fire dagger so that the fire dagger is in the right spot relative to your hand. Then we get to the really complicated fire slash stuff that I'm going to slip all over. Yeah, I mean, you're free to look at the code if you want. But yeah, it's a mess. And lastly, the fire dagger tries to hit things. It does this with a raycast, which is kind of like asking the physics engine, hey, draw a line from A to B. Is there any object along that line? In this case, it's drawing a line from your hand to the tip of the dagger. And if it hits anything on that line, then it tries to hurt it with fire dagger's damage. So, the differences between this and the lightning dagger are nothing, besides the name. So I'm just going to go through everywhere where it's named fire dagger, and I'm just going to rename that in the code to lightning dagger. Keep things organized. I can take some questions. I'm just typing a bunch.
Mr. Magical Leader also questioned, can assets from Superfly be reused here, like the whole lightning superpower effects?
In part. I want to double check because it is a bit of a different team between Superfly and Elements, but I'm pretty sure all of the lightning effects I did for Superfly were my work anyway, so I'm fine to reuse them. And I believe that I did try to reuse them when I was adding the Lightning Bolt Ultimate, but it wasn't always as good quality as I was hoping. The Superfly effects are good for like very, very long range abilities, but Elements is a bit shorter range. So they need some modifications, and it didn't quite look as good as I hoped. But they're the kind of thing that I'm going to explore a lot more when I'm trying to build out the effects here instead of just grabbing placeholders.
Evil Mr. Magikarp, is the hit detection for the Fire Leap Slam using the player's hitbox? If so, does it account for floating?
The Fire Leap Slam does not use the player's hitbox for the explosion at the end. Instead, it detects when do you stop moving, and once you've stopped moving or you release the triggers, it spawns a separate explosion object that just has a giant sphere collider.
What was the hardest move to code from American Guy?
Oh, the earth wall was a massive pain. Water tentacles also. Yeah.
Fire whips?
Also the water
maybe?
wave. The fire whips were also hard. Yeah. I'd say probably the wall might have been the hardest overall. Yeah. This wall doesn't look hard until you realize, wait, the wall needs to be attached to the ground. And what does it mean to be attached to the ground? And if you start thinking really hard about what it means to be attached to the ground, you realize, wait,
Am I attached to the ground?
Yeah, the meaning is now very unclear. So I had to make up a lot of like custom like definitions for like what attaching means and like when you should count as attached and how you should behave while attached. And yeah, that needed a lot of custom code and a lot of different iterations because that changed a lot over development.
Mr. Magical Leader, are the water tentacles some sort of soft body, or are they just a bunch of tiny objects linked together? Sounds like the math is really complicated.
Neither. So, yeah, one trick with the water tentacles is that the only part of the water tentacles that has collision is the very tip of the water tentacles. So if you were like being truly honest about how the water tentacles worked, they would look like floating objects that are like kind of spheres about where the spikes at the end of the tentacles are. The entire rest is graphics only and has no physics. Because giving the rest of it physics is totally infeasible. So they're still a pain because the graphics for all of the body is a pain. But at least there's no physics for the body. That would make it so much worse. Like a soft body simulation running on the Quest, no, it would catch fire and explode. Performance is not there. Not with Quantum. So to explain what I'm doing now, the lightning dagger state is done. So all I had to do was copy it and change the names. So now I have the lightning dagger state here and the fire dagger state here. And I'm going to copy all the settings from the fire dagger state over to the lightning dagger state so that by default they'll behave the same. So I'm just going to go one by one and change the lightning dagger state to have the same settings roughly as fire dagger state, except for the few things that need to be different. Yeah, and these were all settings that were figured out through a very painful trial and error. Like, why should the slice start at a velocity of 5 instead of a 9? Because I tried every possible number I could think of, and this was the number that felt the best in the end. And the one thing that I can't copy here is actually the grab prototype, which here is the fire dagger entity. The reason I can't copy that is because I don't want to spawn the fire dagger entity. I want to spawn a new lightning dagger. So let's make the lightning dagger for me to spawn. To do that, I'm going to take the fire dagger prefab, and I'm going to copy it. Control D for duplicate. And I'm going to take this copy and I'm going to rename it to lightning dagger. So I've got the copy, rename lightning dagger. Now, in order to tell that my copy worked, I am going to go here and I'm going to edit its effects so that its effects look like lightning. And I think the best place to start there is going to be with this lightning blast that I just made. And I'm going to try to edit that lightning blast to be more of a continuous thing instead of a one-off thing. So, yeah. So copy this lightning bolt into here, delete the rest, and here. Got a beautiful little fire dagger, and then a lightning bolt that looks absolutely nothing like it. So my goal is to modify this lightning bolt until it looks exactly the same as that dagger. Let me just make sure that I copied the right thing though, because this looked a little bit different. I may have copied the wrong thing. I'm going to copy this over. I could copy the lightning bolt instead of the lightning blast, and they have some different effects internally. Or maybe I copied the lightning bolt impact. Anyway, back to the lightning dagger. I'm going to delete that, paste this, move it down here. No, that's wrong. I must be copying the wrong thing. Yeah, you look like that, and I copy you here. Now you're different? What? What are you up to?
From Orphan Obliterator. Rory, was stasis made intentionally? And if not, what do you think about the name?
Was not intentional, but it's an alright name. And it's a cool mechanic, so I want to keep it. I'll say that it was at least like half intentional in that the mechanics behind it were entirely intentional. Like being able to control things with multiple hands and throw it with one hand, but then that not releasing it with the other hand, yeah, that's all intentional. That leading into, oh, now that's a cool battle strategy. That being a battle strategy was not intended. But I think it's a cool strategy, so sure, keep it. Okay, so now I'm going to modify this lightning until it starts to look about right. Mostly means making it much, much smaller.
From Mr. Magical Leader. Question for Rory. Thoughts on this image? And then it's some sort of meme image of code.
I will take a look at that once I'm done with this. Yeah, I gotta focus on just making all of these variables be about right to match the fire dagger. It doesn't have to be exactly the same size, but it has to be close enough that the hitboxes will line up. I think a radius of 0 is probably right there, and I need to give it a little bit more rate over time. Oh, that's a little bit too much. That might be better. Maybe a little bit shorter. I want like a little bit more variance, maybe. I'm going to make this not be a constant size, but a little bit of a slightly random size. Yeah, so now we have sometimes wider lightning, sometimes shorter lightning. And I'm going to make the smaller cases even smaller for a little bit more contrast. And yeah, now we got some nice lightning. So if I disable these selection outlines, we can focus on it and stop you. Then yeah, this is the lightning dagger prototype. Again, this is not final, but I think this is a good enough prototype for a dagger. Let's delete that. I'm not going to worry about the sounds for now. Constant, and then your scale. What are you? Control size, control scale. That's fine. Okay. Don't know if you actually need to control scale because I could do that. But I'll just keep it how it was. Okay. So now I've made the lightning dagger object. I've made its visuals. I've been speeding up on accident. I was trying to go slow. My bad. So yeah. Now that I have this object, I can go back to the lightning dagger state, and I can drag the lightning dagger into this grab prototype field. And that hooks up with a bunch of code that I've already written that will say, when you enter this lightning dagger state, it'll create this lightning dagger object, which is exactly what we want. Now, we need to write the code to actually get us into the lightning dagger state in the first place. This code is going to be right next to the code to get us into the dagger state in the first place. Where this code that transitions the firebolt to the fire dagger, we want to say, in some cases, hey, instead, you should transition the firebolt to the lightning dagger. So I'm copying it and pasting it, and I'm going to modify this version to say, hey, when you have the lightning sub-element equipped, that's when you should transition to the lightning dagger. So in total, this reads, if you have the lightning sub-element equipped, and you tap the grip button, the phase event is like when you tap the grip button to change the phase of an ability, then it'll transition to the lightning dagger state. And that's all the code we need to summon it. Because I think lightning dagger is only ever summoned in this one place. So yeah, back the code that'll compile. There's one other thing we need to do, which is there's again two halves of the code: the simulation half and the view half. The simulation half is everything that deals with physics and networking. The view half is everything that deals with graphics. We've done the physics and networking part of the Lightning Dagger already, but we need to do the graphics half. There's a Fire Dagger state view. I'm going to copy that and make a Lightning Dagger state view. This thing is responsible for first making sure that the Lightning Dagger appears in the right spot relative to your hand, and second, for sending out haptic vibrations at certain times. So yeah, again, I want the Lightning Dagger to behave exactly like the Fire Dagger, so I don't have to modify any code. I just need to copy it and change the name, and that's it. Go back to Unity and load. The last thing that I need to do here is I need to modify the cursor object. What's Unity? That's me. I go to this cursor object. Then I need to now add the Lightning Dagger state as a valid state that's allowed. And then just like how there is a Dagger state view here, I need to copy this down here and make this a Lightning Dagger state view. Change the name there. Lightning Dagger. Looks like my name saved didn't actually change. Let's call this Lightning Dagger and save all that. And yeah. Now we go here, check this. I have to add all the abilities that I modified. And that looks right. Okay, time to test. Unity will load, I can take some questions.
People are talking about eating moss.
Okay,
I don't know.
That sounds unhealthy. Be very careful about that.
From you, will stasis be considered in future updates going forward, or will it be ignored?
So, stasis is like an advanced technique that some people know how to use, but not everyone can use. When I'm designing the game, I need to design the game around like everyone who plays the game. That includes people who use stasis, and it includes people who have no idea what stasis is. Stasis is complicated. Because it's complicated, I don't want it to be required. I want players who would rather like maybe play a simpler game, or players who are still learning the abilities, to not have to use it. But I think that it's awesome that players who are ready for that complexity have it as an option. So I think it's a cool thing there. And I'd like to keep it around. And if there are some other abilities where it's natural to have it as an option, then I'll give it there too. I think the important thing to consider about it is balance. If stasis becomes an overpowered strategy that isn't fun to fight against, then I'm going to nerf it. Because I don't want things that are overpowered and unfun to fight. But first, let's try the Lightning Dagger. So I have Lightning equipped. So I'm going to Firebolt, tap grip, and I got a Lightning Dagger. Great. And it charges up into a big Lightning Dagger. And yeah, I can stab things with it. Boom. I'm holding lightning in my hand. It looks alright. A little bit flat. Not the worst in the world though. You want to give it a little bit of depth. Like I can hear them. Feels alright though. And yeah, the Lightning Dagger still does fire slashes because I only updated one of it at once. But I can update fire slashes until lightning slashes later if that's something that the game needs. Still not totally sure about the dagger slashes though. They're sometimes too hard to use because the controls are messed up. But yeah, I can flamethrower up into the air, descend and stab with 2 bolts of lightning. These do look pretty cool. Kind of like the prefix. Yeah. Pretty new names. Alright. And I think it just works this time. Nothing to fix. So, yeah, that's an ability in the game, confirmed working. It's still prototype level. But I'm going to put this as added lightning dagger. Okay, any questions or time to move on to the next ability?
From Katara, alright, I got a question. Will lightning be as powerful as the ultimate, or will that be decreased?
No. A lightning blast move is not going to be as powerful as the ultimate. This is something that you can spam multiple times per second. That doing like 10 bars of health? No, that would be OP. Yeah, that just wouldn't work.
Also from Katara, will lightning be added to Storm, since storms have lightning on it, or is that still in the making / ideas?
Oh yeah, probably. So the idea with Storm, I can give you sneak previews of some of the ideas here. Storm would be like a mix of clouds and lightning and stuff. But yeah, it would have things like an aura of dark rain clouds and lightning. Imagine like dark clouds and lightning combined, as opposed to this fire lightning one that's just the lightning. But Storm would also have like tornadoes and hail and stuff like that, probably.
Let's see here. From Moisun, will the lightning chain to other enemies?
That would be cool. I think it's natural. It fits with the idea of lightning. I don't know which abilities would do that, but that would be fun. Maybe like instead of the firebolt exploding when it's charged, instead of the lightning bolt, the like chains into lightning explosions when it's charged. That could be fun. Yeah, maybe the fire javelin is replaced by like a throwable lightning bolt with chains. Yeah. I don't really know what it'll do yet, but I think those are it's a fun possibility.
From Hollow 6387, might we acquire a throwable Zeus Volt?
Yeah, I think that would be maybe a nice replacement for the fire javelin. Or maybe that's just what this basic lightning bolt is, replacing the firebolt. Not entirely sure if the firebolt should be replaced, though. Because firebolt is kind of an important part of fire as an element, and replacing that in a sub-element means that there's not much fire left. So I don't know if firebolt's one of the ones that would be left alone in the sub-element or changed. That one's up in the air. Because, remember, these are sub-elements. These aren't new elements. They need lightning fire, still needs to be recognizably a kind of fire. So I don't want to get rid of too much fire stuff.
From Katara, when metal comes out and metal armor is on someone and a lightning bolt hits them, will it deal more damage since metal and lightning don't mix?
No. So, now, I know that might sound bad, like, wait, why would you not add that? That's a cool feature. But I've got my reasons. Let me explain. If you're fighting another player, then you, number one, above everything else, want it to be a fair fight. Because Elements is a competitive fighting game. And the worst thing that can happen is for your fight against someone else to be totally tilted against you for reasons beyond your control. So, what are some things that would cause an unfair fight? Imagine that we wanted to be like, oh, we'll have really realistic physics, and hey, water puts out fire. So every time a water move touches a fire move, the fire move instantly disappears, and the water move, totally evaporates the fire move. That'd be cool, sure. Water and fire interacting in that natural way would be kind of nice. Makes sense. Now imagine you're the fire blender, and you're facing against a water player, and they evaporate all your moves. Are you having fun at that point? Maybe not. And the reason that you're not having fun there is because, for reasons just out of your control as a fire player, someone else has picked something that is a hard counter to you in particular. And your only option to beat them is to switch to a different element. They have an unfair advantage against you. Now, if we have a lightning sub-element against metal armor, it's not as big of a deal there, but it's the same kind of feeling. The person with the metal armor would feel that the lightning moves that are hitting them have an unfair advantage against them that they shouldn't have. And the person with metal has really no option to counter that other than, hey, just never use metal armor or switch to a different element. And that's not fun for the metal players. So no, lightning would not be super effective against metal because I want metal versus lightning to always be a fair fight for both players. If Elements was a single player game and you were playing against the AI, then that would totally be a feature that'd be added, but it doesn't work for multiplayer PvP, unfortunately.
Mr. Magical Leader says, it's funny because fire moves make all the water ones disappear. Single tier emoji. Tell Rory that's how it is playing water.
And then the water icicle will make all the fire moves disappear. It goes both ways. Imagine if a single firebolt would beat a charged wave or charged ice wall. Yeah. Should not do that.
From Elementalist Sammy, you should take inspiration from Luck Black Clover. Don't know what that is. Maybe you do.
Black Clover, I've heard of the show, but I have never seen it. Yeah, sorry, I don't know it well enough. But if you want to share images or stuff and suggestions, would love to take inspiration from that.
For Mr. Shiny Gyarados, have you decided how lightning is going to be playstyle-wise?
Yes. So the lightning playstyle is kind of defined by these themes up here. Where those themes are how I view lightning's playstyle is different from fire's playstyle. So I want to have lightning to have a lot of moves that travel extremely quickly, but that require a lot of precision to use. If you hit those lightning moves, they're very deadly, they might paralyze your enemy, and they'll pierce through the enemy blocks. But you'll have to charge up those moves before you can use them. Oh, Shadow's here to join.
Shadow's here.
Yep, she's got some very strong opinions. She just wants attention. She's fine. But she thinks that it's a travesty that I'm not petting her right now. Right, Shadow? Come on.
Puffin says, tell Shadow I say hi.
Hey, Shadow says hi. I picked Shadow. She's on my lap now.
Well, you gotta show us the cat. You can't just say she's on your lap and then not show us.
Fine. Okay, come on, Shadow. Nope, Shadow, don't move off my lap. I need to put you on camera. No. I've lost her. I was about to click the... Shadow, come back here. Come on,
Chase the cat.
Okay, here. She's at least close.
Here we go.
Hey, Shadow. Very
She's gonna get on your head.
Maybe. She doesn't usually do that when I'm sitting down. Not sure why. But if I stand up, then she'll want to be on my head. Don't know why she wants that.
Everyone is complimenting Shadow.
She deserves it. Oh, she's tagging the Discord. Shadow, what do you... Get off the keyboard, please.
Thanks, Shadow.
All right, Shen. Can you get off my keyboard? Oh. Yeah, she's about 100% on my keyboard. I cannot type.
Puffin says you gotta send that.
Shadow hits the enter key.
I can hear her on the keyboard.
Yes. Come on, Chad. Can you go on my shoulders? There we go. Oh. Yeah, she really likes going on my shoulders. Don't know why, but she's a shoulder cat. Okay, and I'll send a message for her.
Also, someone wants you to look at the image I just forwarded.
Yep. If only there was an easier way. Too bad that that's the only option. All right. Shadow's left. So, all right. Back to programming.
Yeah, I mean, we have a few more minutes.
Almost 6. So, do we have a set end time?
I was planning on 6 just because it's been a couple hours, unless you really want to keep going.
I'm fine with whatever. I can't stay too much longer than 6, though.
All right, so everybody scream in chat what your last question is. You have like 3 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, or last thing that you want me to really quickly implement, if possible.
I don't know if you're going to be able to put anything into that amount of time.
In 3 minutes, no, but like in 15.
Why are there no beans in game? Can I eat moss in game? What if we had Shadow as a super strong boss, and then when you beat her, she turns into a nice cat? It's an option. How have you guys been thinking about Storm, like area control, high damage, etc., etc.? Just curious.
Don't have a playstyle for that yet. I come up with the playstyles and make more detailed documents for the abilities, and I don't have that more detailed document for Storm right now.
From Orphan, add a secret button that makes only me win.
No.
From Evil Mr. Gyarados, rate my kitty.
I mean, every cat is automatically 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But, yep. 10 out of 10.
Puffin, cheese bending when?
Tomorrow.
E_E2, do you love all of us equally?
I mean, as a developer, I feel like I'm obligated to hate all players, so sure.
Yeah, I guess that's. I mean, yeah, that's the same amount of love equally, even if it's none.
That's why I nerf your abilities. It's because of pure hatred.
Oh yeah. Mr. Magical Leader, technically Shadow is in the game because Dr. Supper's canon and Dr. Supper has a cat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, but also Dr. Supper's cat is actually my 2 cats. We didn't record Shadow for that. I don't know why.
Shadow was quieter back then, but now she'd be great.
What if Shadow's got deaf in her old age, and that's why she screams now?
It's possible, but she seems to be able to hear people pretty fine.
From Shaner11, what are you most excited on getting done sub-elements wise?
Everything. Look at the length of this document. 18 pages of ideas. There is so much stuff to do. We're not doing all of this because this is the ideas, and like the actual stuff is half of this. But yeah, there's a lot. Stuff that I'm most excited for. Fire explosion. Pretty fun. I'm looking forward to that. I like explosions. No such thing as too many explosions.
From Evil Mr. Magikarp, does the Fire Slam and Earth Slam use the same method for detecting when the player hit?
No. Fire Slam is, are you not moving at all? The Earth Ground Slam is, are you on the ground? So the Earth Slam you can't use to move sideways along the ground. With the Fire Slam you can.
Mr. Mega Gyarados, what's your element rating strength-wise?
You mean like if I had to guess which ones are the strongest and weakest?
I think so.
I honestly, I have no idea. I feel like the high-level players in the community wouldn't be able to tell that better than I could. Yeah, they're just so complicated that I can't really judge which ones are strong or weak, because some moves are strong and some moves are weak, and overall it's... yeah. But I think it's a good thing that I don't know for sure, because if I was able to tell for sure, hey, fire is definitely stronger than water or something, that would mean that the game was simple enough that you could understand how to win by analyzing the game. And that means that that's a very simple game. I think that the best games are the ones where there's a lot of things to learn about the game. And the game is very complicated, and the best way to learn how to get better at the game is to play and to practice. And I think Elements is probably complicated enough that, well, you gotta practice it and kind of play everything in order to know better and better what's good enough now.
It is now 6 o'clock. Actually, it's almost 6:01.
All right. One last thing, I want to quickly show off just how much code we have in the project. Where, yeah, I have in here, I'm just expanding all of the different folders. Each one of these lines is a file of code that's probably maybe 100 lines on average. So take the number of these files and multiply that by 100, and that's roughly the number of lines of code in the project.
Isn't that like, is that like hundreds of thousands of lines or something?
There is so much code
Millions?
in the project. I don't think we're at millions. We might be at 100,000, at least tens of thousands.
From Mr. Magical Leader, final question. How proud are you of what you've accomplished with the game and community?
Oh, very proud. Elements was just a dream 2 years ago. And it has changed from a dream into an actual game. I started work on Elements in part because it was the game that I always wished existed. I wanted to just be able to move my hand and make fire appear or something like that. And when I started on it, there wasn't any way for me to do that. And I can look at the game now and I can be like, oh my god, I can actually do this. I can shoot flamethrowers into the sky. I can summon walls of earth and then throw them at people. And I think that that's really fun. And I think I'm proud that I made something that is that fun and that a bunch of other people apparently also agree is fun. Now, Elements isn't perfect, but nothing ever is. And that's why we're constantly working on improving and polishing the game to make it better and better. All right, I think this is all the code in the project. To scroll from the bottom to the top, it's, yeah, there's a lot of files here.
Is there not a way for you to see total lines in the project?
Probably, but I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, just think of all of these files, and every line of code in this file is written by people. So then it's fun to look back on it and be like, oh, this is all of the work we did. But I can open a random one of these files and be like, oh yeah, I remember that code. It does this.
All right.
So,
well, I guess thank you everyone for coming, and for those who stayed till the end. And I'm going to give an extra thank you to anyone who's watching the re-upload of this later. If you stuck around this long, I'm very proud of you, because it's going to be a 2-hour-long video, and you must really like the game if you're going to stick around for that on a re-upload when you can't even participate. So, yeah, it looks like people like this kind of format, so we might do it again in, I don't know, maybe a few weeks or next month or something. We'll see. Yeah, I guess that's all. And once I end the event, you're all gonna get kicked out of this channel, so you might want to go to general or something if you want to keep talking. Rory, any last words?
yeah, thank you all for watching. I'm surprised that anyone is actually interested to see the code behind the project, but that's the thing I'm passionate about, and I'm always happy to share the details.
All right. Well, Bye-bye, everyone.